Hey guys, in today's From the Install Bay, we get a lot of questions about backup cameras, how to hook them up and whatnot. So we got a stack of backup cameras. We're going to go through the different types of cameras that you have and how to hook them up. So stay tuned. So what we're going to talk about today is the three different styles of backup cameras that are available to you. Believe it or not, there's basically three. There's a lot of variations on those three, but for the most part it falls into three categories. Type 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to go through each one of them, and hopefully your camera is one of those. And we're going to explain how it is to wire them up and all that good stuff. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so let's take a look at our first type of camera, which is going to be this guy right here. Now this type of camera, I'll just set these instructions aside, is going to be one of your most popular. The camera head is really not what we're worried about here. It's these ends right here. A lot of these cameras have these ends where you have an RCA and you have this funky red thing. Now the red thing is going to come with a power adapter, which is going to plug in like this, and on the end of it you'll have a red and a black wire. Okay, then you'll have this RCA here that has these two red pigtails hanging off of it. So this is actually, you guys make this one really hard. This one's actually really simple. So what you do, this plugs in like this. Take one red wire here, connect it to the red wire on the power harness. All right. Get a ring terminal, attach it to the ground. Okay. Then ground it back by the camera somewhere. So now you're done there. This is all you have to do here. This wire is then going to run into the car. It's going to hook into the back of the radio. So in the back of the radio, you'll have your camera input. You plug this in, okay, and then you'll come over here, and there's a red wire on the back of the radio that's going, that's hooked up into the harness of the car. All you're going to do is tap it in like this. So you can either twist them together and then do the installation portion of it, and that's it. That's all there is to hooking up this style camera. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Well, what about the reverse light wire? We'll get to that in a minute, because that's the same for all these. All right, so that's this style. That's style number 1. So if you have a question, you can always refer to it as style number 1. Now we have style number 2. Now style number 2 is going to be a little bit more expensive style camera. It's going to come with a big harness. Okay, and we like to call this a two-piece harness. The reason why we call it a two-piece harness, because you have one piece that's the camera itself. Okay, that has one little, you mount this into the car. You have this little pigtail that runs off and is going to attach to this harness. Okay, now this harness is all one piece. Alright, so you have all the ends here that go to the back of the radio, and you have this end here that goes to the camera. Then you have 18 feet of wire that you have to run through the car. So, mount the camera, plug it in. This is going to run up to the back of the radio. You have the back of the radio. Plug it in to the rear view camera input. Now you basically just have two wires to hook up. You have there again a red, and now you have the ground. So you grab your red off your radio, tap it into that. You grab your black off the radio, and you tap into that. Now this camera is done. That's all there is for installation on this style camera. Now let's look at the third style camera. These are my personal favorites because these make servicing and installation a lot nicer. This is what we call a three-part harness. You get your camera. In this case, you got a nice tag camera here. Okay, it's got a nice thin bar. It looks real sexy. And you have an end right here. In the box, you get your wire, and then you get your behind the radio. So you essentially have, there again, three parts. You have the wire you run through the car, the camera itself, and what goes behind the radio. So you mount this. You can plug this into here. The reason why these are nice is if you're going to do something, let's say an SUV, and you have to run the wire through the boot. Okay, with this style camera, style number 2, you have to fit this giant end here through the boot. And you have to go from the front of the car to the back. I don't really like that all that much because it kind of sucks. I like to go from the back to the front. Even with Style 1, now you got to fit this through that rubber boot. That can really be fun too. So with Style 3, you have this little tiny end right here. Makes going through that boot real easy. And you know, if you ever need to do anything like replace the camera, it's real easy to unplug still, like Style number 2. But also, wiring it up behind the radio, you have this one piece. So you can do all the pre-wiring, and when you're running through the car, all you have is this to contend with, as opposed to an octopus, like Style number 2. Okay, so, mount this, plug this in, we get to behind the radio, plug it in, hook up our red, we have a red and black, we hook up our red, we hook up our black. And that's it for this camera. This camera's done at this point. You have a functioning camera. Now let's take a look at some of the variations on this theme. Alpine makes what's called a bulk camera. And basically what you get with this camera is just a power ground and RCA. Nothing, so it's kind of like camera Style number 1, but it doesn't come with that cool wire. So now what do? Well, in this case, you're just going to pick up yourself a 17, 18-foot RCA, plug it in here, and then you're going to run some primary wire. So you're going to go ahead and pick up like some 18 to 22 gauge red wire, something like this right here, and you're going to run this through the car with the RCA you ran. In the back, you can just put a simple ring terminal on the ground, ground it, you're good to go. Now, these are fun, they're inexpensive, not this particular one, but they're okay. You know, it's a pretty simple mount. Like I said, this is like a one style, just without all the cool parts. Now you have the manufacturer's cameras. Now these are going to be like a glorified 2. So you have your cube style camera that they all love, but then you have 18 feet of wire that you have to run. Now you do get the small end that you get to run through, kind of like a 3, but you have to run all this wiring. So it's going to be from the back forward, but if you ever have to service it, you have to pull this whole thing out. You can't just unplug the camera like a 3. Yeah. So then you have this guy here, which is a power supply for it. So when you're done, this is going to plug into here. And then at the very end, you have this guy, which is going to plug into this, plug into the back of the radio, and there you have your power and ground again. Red and black, good deal, done, see you later, bye. So now the question that all you guys have been asking is, they all work, but what about the reverse wire? Okay, the reverse wire really has nothing to do with the functionality of the camera powering up. You don't want to tie, everyone always wants to tie this red wire into the reverse light wire. Well, the problem with doing that is it's made to run the reverse lights. That's it, not a camera. All you want is a trigger to wake the radio up and say it's in reverse. So what you want to do is run a piece of wire from the reverse lights in the back of the car to the purple white wire behind the radio. That's it. That's all this is going to do. All this is going to do is when you put your car in reverse, it's going to send a little bit of current into the radio and say, hey, I'm in reverse. But it's not powering up the camera. Crucial. You don't need the reverse lights to power up the camera. Alright guys, well we hope that was helpful. Hope that answered a lot of your questions. We do get a ton of them and we appreciate it. If you do have any questions about this video, go ahead and leave them down in the bottom. If you have a specific camera that we mentioned, a type 1, 2, or 3, and you have a specific question about that, add that in the comments so I know which type of camera you have. If you got a camera that's totally whacked out, different than anything we talked about, I doubt it, but if you do, go ahead and ask that. Otherwise, if you guys want to find out more about us, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as always. We appreciate you guys. Subscribe if you like us. Otherwise, you guys have a great night. We'll see you later next time. Bye. Hey guys, it's Tiz from the Install Bay. We get a lot of coconut. Yep, I'm good. Yeah, those make sense.
The second one.
It's like that one. Yeah. Different types of cameras use guys. Use guys. Use guys. Yo, Mickey, Donnie. What's up with this shit? Anyways, sorry.